If you have an iPod with a color screen, it supports photos, meaning you can copy pictures from your computer to your iPod and then display those photos on the iPod screen to share them with friends. Or with the right accessory cable, you can connect your iPod to a TV and share a slideshow of your photos directly from the iPod. So let's take a look at how to sync photos from a Mac to your iPod. If you have a Windows machine, you can jump to the next movie. I still have my iPod Nano attached to my Mac, and with it selected, I'm going to go to the Photos tab. And all I have to do here is check Sync Photos From, and then select where I want the photos to come from. Now you can only sync your photos to one location on your Mac, so it matters where you store the photos you want to copy to your iPod. You can choose your Pictures folder, which is located in your Home folder, or you can choose any other folder on your Mac if you have your photos stored elsewhere. But if you have iPhoto on your Mac, which is part of the iLife suite of applications, and you use it to manage and organize your digital photos, which you really should, select iPhoto from the menu. Now the default setting is to copy all photos, albums, events, and faces to your iPod. But if you have thousands of photos in your iPhoto library, you might not want to copy every single photo over. In that case, choose Selected Albums, Events, Faces, and you can choose to automatically include recent events, so every time you sync your iPod, all of your most recent photos will be copied over. Now we also have the option to include any videos that are stored in iPhoto. So if you've taken videos with your digital still camera and they're in iPhoto, you can choose to have those copied over if they fall into one of the categories you select below. So here you can choose to copy the photos from albums, events, or even photos based on faces. Let's go over to iPhoto to see where this information is coming from. So here in iPhoto, you can see I have a collection of photos that are organized into events, as well as an album or two that I've created. And under Faces, I've taken advantage of iPhoto 09's face recognition technology, where you can find photos based on who appears in them. So back in iTunes, I can now choose to copy photos to my iPod based on albums, events, or faces. So let's say I want my travel album, any of the events here. Maybe I want the Hoover Dam trip, baby Preston, so I have copies of baby pictures. And then maybe I want pictures of, well, all of them. What this basically means is any photo of Tom, Sonia, Preston, or Russell that appear in my iPhoto library will be copied to my iPod. And you can see the number of photos appears over here on the right. And that's the case for albums and events as well. Now, when you copy photos to your iPod, iTunes will actually optimize them for the iPod before transferring them over. Basically, since most cameras these days are taking anywhere from 7 to 12 megapixel or higher images, you probably don't want these huge files taking up a lot of space on your iPod when you're only going to be displaying these photos on your iPod screen. Even if you're connecting your iPod to a TV, there's still no need to have large file versions of your images on your iPod. So iTunes will compress the images so they don't take up much space. But if you use your iPod as a portable hard drive and you would like to have the full resolution versions of your images available in case you want to print them out or copy them onto another computer while you have your iPod with you, you can check Include Full Resolution Photos. This will place a copy of the full resolution photo into the Photos folder on your iPod. So you'll still be looking at the optimized version when you view the photos on your iPod screen, but the full resolution versions will show up in the iPod's Photos folder when you connect it to your computer. Just make sure that you have Enabled Disk Use checked here under the Summary tab. And again, as you recall, that makes your iPod a hard drive that appears on your computer. And from in here, once you copy photos, you'll see a Photos folder appear here. But basically, that's it. Once I've selected which photos I want to copy to my iPod, I just click Apply or Sync. And you can see iTunes is optimizing the photos for my iPod Nano, and now it's copying them over to my iPod. And now that it's done, I can eject my iPod and check out the photos on it. And here on my iPod, I can now navigate and view the photos I just copied over by going to Photos. And here you can see I can view all photos, or I can view them by events, faces, or my travel album that I copied over. So that's how we copy photos onto our iPods.